Thanks for joining us in the WSMV 4 Now studio. I'm Amanda Hara, and we have Stacey Cameron, one of our investigators on the I-Team, joining us to talk about a story that is coming up soon on WSMV. And this is a big deal, Stacey. You're investigating the struggle for adults with disabilities to connect with care. So walk us through what your investigation uncovered.
Sure. So about 6 months ago, TennCare, that's our state agency that runs Medicare, Medicaid in the state, switched a new company to run an app and a website that particularly parents who have adult children with disabilities can go onto this website and get in-home care for their children. A lot of these adults get waivers from the federal and state government where their parents can pay for that care in home. And so essentially the parents go onto this app, or supposed to be able to go on this app, and it's like their HR department, right? These parents hire the people, they vet the people, they schedule their time, and then the folks who come in and provide this vital care for disabled folks get paid through the app. Taxes are taken out and everything, right? So this new website, new company taking care of the app and the website comes online in July. Parents all over the state have been telling us, we interviewed 2 of them tonight, that it's just a struggle. The website and app will crash. It's missing vital forms that they need to hire people. And the process in some instances is taking so long, up to 2 months, that people who want to come in and do this kind of work move on and get another job.
It's not just affecting the patients, it's affecting the care providers. Yes. They're saying, this is becoming too much. My payments are delayed. It's not worth my time or trouble, and they're moving on.
Right, that's absolutely correct. Wow. And we're not talking about people who get paid a lot of money. This is hard work, first of all. These people are paid about what we see folks now who are getting just above minimum wage are getting. So it's really kind of a calling for a lot of these people. Some of them are actually in school learning to get physical therapy degrees and other things like that. So they need the work, and they can't get the jobs or come right in and get quickly employed as you might someplace else, or their payments getting delayed. We talked to a guy who's had a care provider who's a wonderful woman in the home for his daughter who's living with autism. They've had her for a number of years. Her first paycheck through this new company running the website was a month late. Wow. And she's a mother of 4. So that's a struggle. They still owe her more than $600 for transportation expenses that she's taken on. We talked to another family whose son has cerebral palsy, and he needs 24/7 care. Mom takes care of him. She's now pushing 70. He's 35. She's taking care of him right now for like 18, 19 hours a day because they can't hire all the people they need to be in the home taking care of this man.
Well, tell us a little bit about who we're looking at here on the screen and this family that you've interviewed.
That's right. That is the mother and the gentleman I was talking about right there. That's Candy Farrell and Will Farrell. Okay. Will, as we'll hear from his mother, has cerebral palsy, and he is an incredible young man, very intelligent, works outside of the home, but he needs 24/7 care. You know, we're talking about all types of personal care just to live. And she has been struggling since July to get people in the home, where she said it was hard under the previous provider, but it wasn't this hard. And people they had scheduled out in months in advance, because she has to schedule months in advance, right? For these people just started falling off the roster because they couldn't get paid or they couldn't get hired on. So what we have here in this clip where we get to know Will a little bit better is Candy going into telling us a bit about her son and the struggle that they're having right now.
All right, let's take a listen.
We are talking about my son Will, 35 years old. He was born 10 weeks early.
All right, we're going to try that one more time. Sometimes the computers want to agree with you.
That's right.
Sometimes they revolt.
We are talking about my son Will, 35 years old. He was born 10 weeks early, struggled to breathe.
All right, so still having some issues there, but kind of walk us through what she was telling you, Stacey, in that part of the interview.
Yeah, so Candy is a really incredible mother. Will is her youngest son, and when Will was born, as she starts to say, they're 2 weeks prematurely, or he had issues breathing. And she just prayed to God, she said, that if God allowed her to keep him, she would do everything she could to take care of him. And she has. But now she's twice his age. He's 35, she's 70. She has some physical ailments herself, but she's having to lift him out of the bed, into the chair, because they can't get people into the home. And she directly blames TennCare because of the issues they've had with this app, not being able to get the in-home care that they need. And Candy goes on to say, look, I've been a disability advocate for years because of my son, and I know I'm not alone. I'm not the only person struggling, the only parent that's having difficulty getting folks into their home. And so Candy is like I said, a mother with 2 other kids. She's retired now. She's wanting to spend time with her grandkids. Will wants to live outside of the home. Will is a pastor. He's been a pastor for 8 years. He works in technology, but he needs the people to help him be able to do this. So right now he's largely confined to his home if Candy doesn't do the kind of care that she's basically unable to do physically. So we get to hear that story from her in this clip and into the story. And so you start to see the daily, literally daily struggle. And for Will, this is vital care that he needs to survive.
Right.
The other family we'll hear from, as I mentioned, is an adult lady with living with autism, incredibly young woman, but her dad works out of the home a lot. He has to travel. And if he doesn't have that care there in his home, he can't go work.
Right.
He has to take care.
It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
It really is. And here are these people that have been guaranteed benefits. That they've paid in their taxes. They've worked hard the whole life. Will even works and gets taxes.
Right.
But this guaranteed care that they're supposed to get in their home, they're not getting. And they say it's all because of this app. And what's frustrating for them, and then I saw it on my own end, is when you try to reach out to TennCare and speak to them, they say, well, there's nothing wrong. Sure, there've been some hiccups. It's all been fixed. These families are being taken care of. You take your time and listen to the families and like, no, we're not. Every time we tried to tell TennCare what the disconnect is here, they do not listen. They have the ability to fix it, but they're not.
Well, what happened when you reached out? Because obviously we know there are different sides to every story. What did TennCare have to say? And that's part of the story that you were trying to track down. Where did you land there?
Well, they wouldn't give us an interview.
Okay.
We get a statement saying there have been issues, but we've taken care of it. If there's anybody having problems, tell them to contact us. We'll take care of it. And it's just not the case from what we hear from people. So, fine. If that's the case, come on camera. Tell us, about what struggles there have been, if any. Why these families who say they're still struggling to get people paid or care are having issues or not, if that's what you claim. This is a taxpayer-funded agency. These are public servants, if you will. Why don't you come on and address these people's concerns that we're hearing? It's almost as if, and it's like the families have told me, TennCare leadership sits in an ivory tower and they're not going to be bothered with this. Now, they're very adamant. The folks that work and do this care, they're not the problem. Really, they don't think the company that was hired was the problem. They think they were put behind the 8 ball, right? Consumer Direct Care Network. And that company, we reached out to them too. They said, give us the names. We'll try to fix these problems
they're trying to make
quickly.
it right.
They're not giving us an interview either. And that's what these families really want, maybe more than anything, is to be heard and feel like you're being heard and have somebody. So when you go into their home, they're so gracious to hear you and that someone wants to at least listen and try to fight for them, because these parents are taking care of children who can't speak up for themselves, can't fight for themselves. So whenever you hold somebody's hand and you make them feel like you're an ally, they're so grateful.
They're going to hold on to that,
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the next step here, because there's obviously not a great resolution. You're not getting interviews from TennCare. They're not telling you what they're doing, if anything, to try to remedy the problem. So this is probably a story we're going to continue to follow. So folks out there, you're watching, you're listening, and you're experiencing a similar issue, reach out to the I-Team. Super accessible. You can find all their contact info in the news app or on our website. And a really easy way to track Stacey down is just go to our website, meet the team, look for his picture, and all of his contact information is right there in the website bio. So that would be a great place for people to start if they're experiencing similar issues.
It really would be, because these families say, there's strength in numbers, and there's some families that are worried about stepping out and speaking because they're afraid they'll lose their benefits. That's not going to be the case. But when you have, other families together, when you have some disability advocate groups that we interview in the piece tonight, and our story highlighting what your problems are, A, there's a chance that we can get your individual case fixed.
Right.
But B, greater, maybe we can get the problems that are happening resolved, and everyone that deserves this care taken care of.
And for folks who don't know, Stacey is a real lawyer, a real attorney, so he's got that legal knowledge as well as he investigates some of these stories. Okay, so we're going to hear more from these families on the impact it's taking, the toll that it's taking, and also on the provider side, what this issue means for the amount of providers available. What time does your story air tonight?
Tonight in the 6 o'clock news.
All right, we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your day, and make sure you tune in at 6. Very important story affecting a lot of Tennesseans tonight at 6.